The Green America Hometown Tour is brought to you by Atrion IT Technology, Rhode Island College, Cardi's Furniture, and the Arpin Group. I'm Peter Arpin of ReNewable Now, and I am so glad you are with us as we finish our tour of Warwick, Rhode Island, by looking at the multitude of historic sites, resorts, beaches, parks, and enclaves of culture and tourism that are such an important part of this city's 300-year story and its future road to success. Warwick is extremely diverse in its commercial centers, running from the retail golden miles of Bald Hill Road to the diverse, booming enterprises surrounding Green Airport, and its new people mover and transportation interlink, all the way to the quaint and very old storefronts of Apponaug. What is sometimes forgotten about this city is its miles of natural resources, outlining beautiful spots like Conimicut, Buttonwoods, Patuxent Village, and many others, and houses a wonderful historic site, Rocky Point, that today is preserved into a picturesque park that harkens back as you walk its majestic shoreline to many days of merriment for the children of this great state. Stay with us as the city administration and other guests rejoin us to talk about Warwick's diversity in people, places, education, and culture. And we tell you how all of this gets managed, we believe, into a bright, sustainable future for this critical link to the state's economic future. We are back on ReNewable Now. I am here with Jay Brennan, principal of Henrican. Thanks so much for being with us. And you almost being late. Amy Turner, you are producing artistic director of the new Ocean State Theater Company. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Thanks so much for being with us. So one of the things we do in our final segments of each city, of each tour, is really take a look at culture, at arts, at history, at people resource, human capital, and what that means to an economy, because we don't ever want to leave that out. We're going to start with you, Jay. Henrican, well known, been around for how long? How long has?
Well, we recently celebrated our 50th year
50th.
as a school. Last year we had our 50th graduating class. So we've sent out into the great world, and mostly in Rhode Island and Warwick, well over 10,000 graduates.
10,000 graduates. You typically have about 1,000 kids there at the...
It'll vary between 1,000 and 900 or so students. Sometimes we're a little over 1,000, sometimes we're a little below, but right now we're right around the 1,000 number.
And a pretty big campus, about 70 acres, of which you're using a lot of it, obviously. Let's talk a little bit about Henrican and kind of sustainability. What are the changes you've made? What are the changes you're making now? And then we're going to talk about the future a little bit later.
Well, I think the big thing about Bishop Henrican is that we're driven by our mission. And our mission is all about developing the total human person of our students. And part of that is to develop their social consciousness. That social consciousness is geared toward creating and being committed to peace and justice. So that kind of an attitude and that thing that we try to inculcate in all our students really works along with sustainability, because they need to be responsible citizens. They need to understand that there's more than just them out there.
That's a big issue, right? Just where they fit.
So there's, a lot of what we do is geared toward that at Bishop Henrican, whether it's students being responsible for recycling paper and plastic and cans, dealing with other issues of sustainability. We want to have the kids leave the building understanding that.
But let's talk about kids coming in, because you've seen a lot of generations. How long have you been in?
This is the beginning of my 37th year.
Okay, so you've been there a long time, you've seen a lot of kids. Yep. When they come through that door, do you feel as though they have a better sense of the environment of sustainability? Do you feel like they're conditioned more at home? Are they more aware of waste, or do you have to do a lot of that work?
I think there's a lot of them that come in understanding all of that, but there's a lot of them that just think that it's all going to come their way and that everything is, you know, all about them.
So part of your mandate is to try to change that.
Right, and that's all of our mission is, you know, to let them understand that they're in a bigger world and that they are responsible for the people around them.
Terrific. Amy, you are down with Theater by the Sea.
Yep.
Very successful. How long have you been with?
Reopened it in 2007.
2007. And how many productions have you done since then?
Oh, well, we've done 4 or 5 a year, so you're a teacher.
That's a lot. That's a lot of plays.
I think it's around 32.
Well, so 5 years, yeah. If you did 4 or 5, you'd be 25, 30,
Yeah.
which is really good. And so you've become an important element down there in the arts and the culture. But now you're looking here in Warwick. Why?
Well, you know, it's interesting to sort of follow up on what was just spoken about. One of our biggest reasons for expanding is to actually be able to integrate into the school systems, because we feel the same way. Arts has the ability to teach all kinds of things. And really, I think one of the most important thing is empathy for others, seeing it from a different angle, and that all relates to where you fit into the world. So that really has a lot to do with it. Theater by the Sea, of course, is completely seasonal. There is no other option besides being seasonal. So we, being that we're in the summer, this will give us the opportunity to be open, to be functioning, to be integrated into the school system, and hopefully sort of fill that void.
But why Warwick and why that building? Because I look at it and I drive by and I know it was a repair facility and I think, wow, somehow I don't see that as a theater. But
it really came by accident, quite honestly, and it's probably a much longer, it's a very serendipitous story. But we did end up, we looked in North Kingstown and East Greenwich, came upon a very interesting building in East Greenwich that looked to be the place that we would be expanding. One thing led to another, and we ended up at this facility in Warwick. And I think there's several reasons why that was. It ended up filling all of our necessities and also really promoting our mission.
So it's big enough, 10,000 square feet. It's got high enough ceilings.
That's right.
It's got parking. It's got all of that. But I've got to assume you're putting a lot of money into retrofitting.
Well, we are, but what's interesting, especially about the sustainability and the renewability, is that there's very little demolition that needs to happen because it really was an empty shell. So we're not only are we repurposing a building, but we're not really needing to throw much away. We're just adding a theater inside of it.
Right, so you're repurposing it,
Yeah.
remodeling it, bringing new life to it, and really so different than its former life. But you make
And
a
in a great location, too.
in a great location, in a great city that is probably hungry to see some of the artistic side develop. So that's a really good thing and a really good tie-in, obviously.
Maybe we'll have to team
with
up.
the school.
We would love that. We have a great arts program. That,
Bless you. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Maureen Carey, publisher of Rhode Island Natural Awakenings magazine. I'm excited about our new partnership with ReNewable Now. Natural Awakenings is a free monthly publication committed to providing services and information to our community to improve your quality of life physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. You'll find cutting-edge information on natural health, nutrition, fitness, personal growth, green living, and the products and services that support a healthy lifestyle. You can find our magazine at health food stores, coffee shops, yoga studios, libraries, and wherever free publications are generally seen. We are locally owned, locally produced, and supporting the Rhode Island economy naturally. You can find us online at rinaturalawakenings.com.
We are different. Society should aspire to be more like us.
Be part of the first class. Get energized. Get outside.
Hold on, guys. It's gonna get bumpy.
And get moving. Experience the power of physical activity. Join the movement at actionheroalliance.com.
Thanks for staying with us on ReNewable Now. Jake, a couple of questions. one was really interesting to me. You and I had talked off camera a little bit about how you took some computers and went and brought them to a different school, and it was great. It was just great to see kind of how that flowed there. But tell us a little bit about that story.
We had an opportunity when we began to upgrade our computer labs. We brought all the much more efficient computers in, and then we had all the older computers, and we had decided that what we would do is we would partner with two of the Catholic elementary schools, St. Kevin's and St. Rose. And we contacted their principals, and they were more than happy to get a free computer lab on our generosity. So not only did we donate the computers, but we sent our students over. And our students went into the schools, set up the computer labs, and then since they've gone back, they go back and forth and they work.
That's great.
With the students at St. Kevin's and St. Rose.
So we didn't even have to recycle, right? Bring them right back into the schools, put them to work, get the kids engaged, get the kids working together, mentoring a little bit. That is a great job of recycling and repurposing. Your kids go overseas. Why?
Correct. Well, you know, it's all part of the whole idea of, you mentioned, when the kids walk in the door, are they really in tune with other people's needs? And some are, but there's a lot that we have to work with. And we do a lot of work with service projects and helping out folks in our community. We send groups into Kentucky, we send groups to Lima, Peru, to work with the marginalized, to help the people. And when our kids go off there and they spend some time in Lima, Peru, they spend some time in Kentucky, in the Appalachian areas, they come back with a whole different perspective on life. They understand what we have here.
Absolutely.
And that it's precious, and that it has to be cherished, and that we can't be selfish, and that we have to be careful with our consumption.
Right.
So a much stronger appreciation of what we have.
Not to waste, not to abuse, not to use more than you have to, not to create a bigger footprint.
That we've been blessed.
Absolutely.
And that doesn't mean because you've been blessed that you use more.
What a great
just
way,
because you can.
What a great way to teach that.
Yeah.
You guys have been blessed. But in the arts, what about changes in sustainability? Are you remodeling theaters? Are you changing how you interact with audience? Are you getting more paperless? How do you see the arts changing as well?
I definitely think everybody is looking for lots of ways, and to be perfectly honest, one of the reasons is affordability. You know, arts are always in need of additional funding. They're needed. We're not for profit, so we're always looking for the most beneficial way to utilize the resources that we have. Actually, by having a year-round operation, there's a lot of resources that we feel we're going to be able to take advantage of, rather than gearing up for a season and gearing back down. Right. Whether it's, you know, as simple as the paperwork it takes to hire and audition 1,000 people every season, you know, to.
So you would have continuity in operations, right? You'd certainly have more jobs.
Absolutely.
Right, and all those types of things. That building, then, is it going to be a much bigger operation? Is it going to be much more expensive? Are you going to need a lot more people over there on Jefferson Boulevard?
Our year-round staff will definitely expand, but another exciting thing for us is that we'll be able to hire more year-round employees, more local employees, because it won't be so segregated, so isolated. We'll be able to build those relationships, and you know, all of that is a way to ingrain yourself in the community. We're excited about the location being so near the commuter hub, and their sidewalks. You know, where we are in Matunic, as gorgeous as it is, there's only one way to get there, and that's an awfully long drive.
Did you work closely with the city?
In Matunic?
No, in Warwick.
In Warwick.
As you looked at a new home?
Yeah, we've had so much support, and I think that they look at it as the development of this whole station district, of being a walkable area, of being a bikeable
Mixed
area.
Use, right?
Exactly. And
so that was appealing to you?
Very appealing. To get the demographic in, just the fact that that people can park and, you know, even walk to a restaurant.
Absolutely.
Or come in on the train and just take a quick stroll down the block.
You might
all of that helps.
Transforming that area a little bit, bringing in more arts. What's the future of Henrik, and how can you get better?
Well, we have had numerous groups come in and give us energy audits, and we've changed our lighting. We've got new fixtures in to make us more efficient.
And real quick, have you looked at renewables?
We looked at renewables.
And what happened?
We looked at bringing in solar, and when they told us, they said, the space you have on your roof isn't enough. We'll have to put panels in your parking lot on stanchions. And I'm sure you have teenage boys, you know how they drive.
Yep.
It's bad enough that there's no targets in the parking lot.
I know.
But if they start, banging into solar panels, so, we're hoping that the technology can get better.
It has.
Yeah.
It has. The production's gotten better. And real quick for you,
Yeah.
renewables?
Well, we have a very large flat roof, and it's not in the immediate plans because obviously our first priority is just
get open,
to
yep.
get open. But we have started having those conversations. So long range, it's definitely a part of our strategic plan and part of our mission.
We will help you with that. We'll be right back.
Damn, those books are heavy.
My sport is football, but my passion is education.
Right up here.
So every year I take promising high schoolers on a college tour
Lights there, darts there.
to show them that higher education means a brighter future. My name is Nnamdi Asamoah. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
You can be a reader, tutor, or mentor too. Take the pledge at liveunited.org/volunteer.
Do you wear this?
I am back with Mayor Abedisian. Thank you so much for coming back. You've had a chance to watch all the segments, listen to all the guests. We've talked about a whole range of different things that are going on in your city. Did it change your perspective at all? Are there things that you will focus on any differently?
I don't think it necessarily changed my perspective. What it allowed me to see, though, in government, we often talk only to people who are in government. And we all think that we know, since we know what we're talking about, we think that everyone else knows what we're talking about. So a different perspective of having Jay here from Hendricken and Amy from Ocean State Theater to get their views on what's important. And when you look at all the different segments and having Nilo talk about what's important for the business perspective and
what the city can do to help, right?
And how we all work together, it really does come back to whether you're a business or you're an individual, it is all quality of life.
Absolutely.
When we started talking about environmental issues, it wasn't all that long ago in this city. When Mayor Chafee was in office, and we started talking about, well, how do we prepare for our future? Back then it was, you're going to recycle and you're going to buy some open space.
That was it.
And then it morphs over time, and you see how other things come into being and how you can do one project here that adds to a project here, and little things like changing out our traffic lights to LED lighting and working with the Sierra Club on that and having that kind of a discussion on, what does that do for our future?
Well, and there's a really good point, because I would think that you could remodel your buildings first, right, into energy efficient buildings.
Right.
That would be, I would think, a great start. Is that happening here in Warwick?
We are one of the EPA showcase communities. It is Warwick, North Providence, South Kingstown, East Greenwich. The four of us were chosen by the EPA to be their showcase communities because of the work that we're doing in retrofitting our lighting, talking about what are we going to do on green roofing. And people say, oh, it's too complicated, it's too difficult. When you start talking about it, you don't have to necessarily do a full green roof model. What you can do is start just planting some roof gardens. That doesn't do 100% of the savings,
right,
but it's a beginning, and it adds to all those things together. Collecting rainwater, we used to talk about cisterns all the time. They're gone. People don't use them anymore. There is a reason why they should be still part of the mix here.
Absolutely.
We've talked a lot about what's the possibility for solar.
I was going to say, what about clean energy? Is it coming to the city, or?
It will. We have some interesting problems, or I should say challenges. They're not necessarily problems. We've talked about to a number of property owners as to where you could do a solar field. We have to be very careful here because the building we're in, obviously TF Green Airport is our largest entity in the city. And while it may sound good that there's a building right next to TF Green that you could do a solar field on, probably not allowed by the FAA because you need to have a different kind of roof line and you need to have a very reflective material. Probably not going to be allowed. So we've had to look at a whole bunch of different things and say, okay, just because you could do it somewhere doesn't mean you can do it here.
Right.
But there are options for us to go and do some other things. So maybe solar isn't the way that we're going to go. Maybe we do more of a wind turbine. We have 2 turbines right now on Route 95.
Absolutely.
New England Tech has one, and Shalom Housing has the other. And I think 2 things that's really good because it's right on the main road going through Rhode Island.
Absolutely.
And 2, it shows you that a nonprofit run by Jewish Community Services can have a turbine, and New England Tech as a not-for-profit entity educating young people can also have that. So I think it's really important to show the symbolism of having it on 95, but also by the groups that are doing it.
Real quick, the schools are very important.
Yes.
CCRI, Henrican we had on. New England Tech moved. What does that do to the city? Is that a game changer at all?
No, they moved in part. So for some of the buildings that they're not going to use anymore, they've put them back on the tax rolls because they've sold them.
Okay.
So it's actually a net gain for us. Our working relationship with New England Tech is still as strong as ever. And they are going to continue to do programming here, especially in their automotive center, which is right on Route 95 with the turbine. They're not moving that at all.
Because they needed really more of a bigger campus, but again, they are huge into green, right?
They are.
Turbine.
Well, and remember that they had all sorts of buildings all over
right.
the place, and they were saying the way to really be sustainable and to do it correctly is to put them all on one campus.
Right.
So they've made some decisions for themselves that were positive. They've made decisions for the city that are positive, and we will continue to work with them.
Well, we only have a minute. What will Warwick look like in the next 10 years if everything comes together as you hope?
You will see the same quality of life that people have always enjoyed here, but it will be augmented now by this notion that you have 39 miles of coastline, great neighborhoods, great villages, but you'll also have a real city feeling in a pedestrian-friendly, transportation-oriented district that will connect all of our modes of transportation into one area.
So we'll see some smart growth, we'll see new jobs, new areas develop, old areas develop, but hopefully in a very sustainable way. Your team is excellent, by the
Thank
way.
you.
We
I
loved
appreciate
working with them. We love being here. We wish you all the best.
Thank
Obviously, your success here in Warwick has a huge impact on the state, and we want to see you continue to grow.
I appreciate
Thanks
that.
so much
Thank
for
you.
having us. I will be right back to wrap up our tour in Warwick.
Faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a 600-pound gorilla, able to pack any home in a single move. Look, pulling up to our house. It's a delivery. It's a truck. No, son, that's the Arpin Moving Guy. An advanced mover from the Arpin Group, sent to defeat rogue movers and moving giants that provide bad home moves. He delivers customer satisfaction, quality work, and award-winning service. For a super move, call Arpin at 800-343-3500 or visit arpin.com. The Moving Guy, saving the world from bad moves, one customer at a time.
We are different. Society should aspire to be more like us.
Be part of the first class. Get energized. Get outside.
Hold on, guys. It's gonna get bumpy.
And get moving. Experience the power of physical activity. Join the movement at ActionHeroAlliance.com.
Nature's Rest, New England's most popular latex brand, is now exclusively at all Carty's Furniture and Carty's Furniture mattress locations. Nature's Rest eco-friendly construction includes a plant-based polysupport core with carbon-negative wood foundation base.
Latex is the Earth's best natural resource for sleep, and Nature's Rest mattresses are proven to provide superior pressure relief to give you a more restful, rejuvenating night's sleep.
Carty's Furniture and Carty's Furniture mattresses.
I love what Jim Brennan from Henrican said about his school's mandate to teach kids sustainable lessons. Lessons of giving back to society. By the school setting a very high standard for staff and students, keeping in perspective their role in the world by being leaders in looking at the world around us and the many needs of that world and its people by getting them personally involved in not just handing down computers, but delivering them to younger kids and mentoring those kids on how to use them. We see a school give real lessons in making a positive difference in this world. Those are great lessons for any kid to learn. We also wish Ocean State Theater great success in bringing new talent and new energy to the Station District and help that area blend business with arts and culture, a great mix for any city. The team at ReNewable Now wants to thank the mayor, who came back to give us his final comments. We want to thank his excellent, very accommodating staff, and special acknowledgement to Councilwoman Donna Travis, who helped shape this tour of Warwick and got us started at City Hall with her knowledge, her energy, and her desire to help us tell a great story about Rhode Island's second largest city. Thanks, Donna, and good luck as you continue to help shape the future here. I'm Peter Arpin, and I'll be back next week to bring you
Faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a 600-pound gorilla, able to pack any home in a single move. Look, pulling up to our house. It's a delivery. It's a truck. No, son, that's the Arpin Moving Guy. An advanced mover from the Arpin Group, sent to defeat rogue movers and moving giants that provide bad home moves. He delivers customer satisfaction, quality work, and award-winning service. For a super move, call Arpin at 800-343-3500 or visit arpin.com. The Moving Guy, saving the world from bad moves, one customer at a time.
We are different. Society should aspire to be more like us.
Be part of the first class. Get energized. Get outside.
Hold on, guys. It's gonna get bumpy.
And get moving. Experience the power of physical activity. Join the movement at ActionHeroAlliance.com.